These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
I'm Craig McKee with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. Now to our state of education. Tonight, after months of uncertainty, families can voice their concerns over major changes in the Kyrene School District. The district outlining 8 schools under consideration for closing. The district says, like other schools across the state, there's been a significant drop in enrollment. They say that's in part to declining birth rates and an aging population and a lack of affordable housing in that school district's area. This is a decision that is weighing heavily on the minds of family and staff.
I'm not blind to the cost of our decision. 2 of the campuses proposed are my children's school and where I work. This is really overwhelming and sad.
The district tells us they won't make a decision on school closures until December at the earliest, but there's still time to make your voice heard. And tonight's meeting will be held at Kyrene Middle School at 6 p.m. It is the first of 5 community meetings.
There has been no direct communication with myself and the speaker other than, sort of flippant remarks to news reporters, statements that come out of his office, basically saying, I'm in this limbo here where so many of my Democratic caucus colleagues are welcoming me as a member, but you can see very clearly I cannot, I'm essentially a tourist to D.C.
Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva there remaining at the center of the conversation up on Capitol Hill, really, as a group of congressional Democrats ramp up the pressure on House Speaker Mike Johnson to go ahead and swear her in. But Johnson is blaming the government shutdown on the Democrats, indicating he may not swear her in until the government reopens. And new developments on the cuts to state services for disabled children. The Division of Developmental Disabilities had slashed in-home services for kids under the age of 18 after making changes to its procedures. Those changes prompting several families to reach out to us and share their concerns about benefits their families rely on. Governor Katie Hobbs, though, has just announced the changes will now be delayed while the program develops an exception for extraordinary care and allows families to apply. And just in, the Phoenix Parks and Recreation Department has temporarily closed Echo Canyon Trail at Camelback Mountain due to safety concerns caused by the recent storms. Park rangers will remain on duty to ensure the public stays off the trail until it is deemed safe to reopen. It's unclear when that will be. Uplifting Arizona tonight. Books for those behind bars, allowing some Arizona inmates to discover their purpose. A former Arizona corrections officer left her job to launch a nonprofit that brings book clubs to incarcerated folks around the state. She tells us the idea came to her after a club she started at a Buckeye prison led to positive changes in the inmates there. She said prison is typically boring and sad, but she also saw how inmates looked forward to learning something new in a book and expanding their minds. The discussion and the perspective shaping their character for the better.
We need to give people something else to focus on. We need to introduce new perspectives. We can't expect anything differently if we don't do things differently.
For you.
Now, Christina there says she picked one book a month, each one providing healthy advice for overcoming adversity and self-help tips. As the Valley gears up to honor those who served next month, the Phoenix Veterans Day Parade announced its grand marshals. 8 extraordinary Valley veterans who served in conflicts from World War II to Afghanistan will be leading this year's event. As an Air Force veteran, I'm proud to say I will help MC this year's parade alongside ABC15's Nick Saletti. Join us for this annual tribute at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, November 11th. As a reminder, the Phoenix Zoo is set to reopen tomorrow. This after those destructive storms earlier this week that tore through the zoo, Tempe, and other surrounding areas. The zoo telling us the damages are totaling around $300,000. Crews are busy cleaning up the downed trees and making necessary repairs out there. If you're interested, by the way, the zoo has set up a recovery fund.
Tracking your forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sullins. We've got another sunny and gorgeous day on tap for tomorrow. A little bit warmer across the valley and much of the state, but still several degrees below the average, which is considered normal for this time of year. That goes down to 89 for tomorrow. Temperatures start out in the 50s. It's going to be a nice and cool start to the day. Sunshine and light winds for the valley. The latest storm system that picked up winds across the high country headed out. We do have another little area of low pressure that's going to jet through. It doesn't look like much, but we will see some breezy conditions along the Colorado River as winds shift out of the north on the backside of that. Then high pressure builds in. We warm things up into the weekend, and the next storm system offshore could potentially move in with a little bit more rain toward the middle of next week. So here in the valley, a slight chance of an isolated shower or two in your valley forecast next Wednesday. Otherwise, we're looking mostly sunny and dry. Temperatures in the upper 80s through the weekend and early next week.